Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had gonna
I got a question for you really quick. Why is Riley Newman not having the results he previously did?
Mm, that's an
Is it,
interesting
and these are my
question.
three, is it technology based? Is it the players that passed him by? Or is it purely because he's, lacking in confidence and hasn't found the right partner? But why is he, I would say 6 months ago, he was probably guaranteed the number two player in the world
Mhm.
outside of maybe JW. And now I put him at like 14.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say there's absolutely nobody that has been hurt more by poppy paddles,
Mm.
right? Like Riley is somebody who used to be able to dig overheads and high balls and was as close to a wall as anybody else. I think this is pretty undisputed. Like Riley had the best defensive hands in pickleball,
Crazy.
and
For
not
me, he's
close.
still the hardest player to attack. Like for me, he is.
Hmm.
And I've always wanted to play with him. I'd never wanted to play against him. And I love Riley. I think he should be, he's kind of lost that step, that swagger a little bit. But you're
Hmm.
probably right. It's probably strongly related to the paddles, and that's what I think it is as well to some extent.
Yeah, I think just the hands battles are a little bit more random now. So
Yeah,
I'd
they're
say
not
like,
really hands battles anymore. And I referenced this. I don't think it's about hand speed anymore. I think it's about who has the poppier paddle and catches the first one.
yeah, no, I would agree with that. Like, so I'd say in this time last year, Riley was probably, if you're in a quick exchange, I'll just say a ball that is sped up, Riley's going to be a 70-30 favorite in that.
Yeah.
And now I think with the paddles being so poppy, like if either one of the players guesses right on one of those, it's over. So
Right.
whereas the better player might have had a 70-30 advantage in quick exchanges before, now it's more neutral. Maybe it's 60-40 or even 55-45, with the caveat that like if somebody guesses right on one of them, the point's over.
Yeah.
So I think there's nobody that's been hurt more by the Gen 3 paddles than Riley. And I think that affects every part of somebody's game. If you're not confident in your strength, what are you going to be confident in?
And he
So
also dug out more points than anybody, and now the high ball probably doesn't come back.
mhm.
Where it
And
used
also
to
like
have
he's
a
had
chance.
he was planning on being only MLP, so he didn't line up the best partners that he probably could have. He could have been
No doubt.
playing the entire year with a Christian or somebody or another. Now he's scrounging for partners like me, the last minute. But so there's the paddles, there's the partners, and
And then players are getting
and
better. They're all training.
playing players are getting better too. You have any other thoughts on that?
I think that the dynamic of the game has changed a lot. The question that I
Mhm.
have is, will he figure it out? Like, is it something that stylistically or tactically he can adjust, or did the technologies just simply make the game too different, where it passes him by?
Mhm.
Yeah. I've spent a good portion of this week going back into old clips from like 2-3 years ago
How slow
where
does
the
it look?
firefights are like really extended. They
Yeah,
last for a while. Like that singles point I posted of
Yeah.
you versus Jay, and you guys used to have
big
those
point.
battles all the time.
Yeah.
And the points would stay alive for forever. And it was a
Singles was
total
so much
show.
more interesting.
And the firefights were like, that was the best moment in pickleball. Like everybody waited to watch the
I know.
firefights. And it's almost like the firefights are gone for the most part
Well, that's
because
my
of the fact
next
that we
segment
had these crazy battles.
is I mean, we all know my take, but my next segment is are the new paddles good for the game? Because there are some people that believe that they are, and maybe recreational. Some people believe they are also. I think Zane has said that recreational. He thinks like for a 70-year-old woman, it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for anybody. I think it's a travesty because
Hmm.
that 70-year-old woman, it used to be, let's say she's really really good and she was a 4-5, and she used to mingle in with us at the park. If I'm playing with a Gen 3 and I'm playing against her, I can't play normal anymore. Where always I never thought about that. Like out of respect for everybody, I just play. I just have fun at the park. I play, but that changes that. Now it's like, the other one that kills me is oh, stay in your lane, and it's all level based. It has nothing to do with level. It's totally ludicrous. Whether it's Deckel or my 4-5, well, I wouldn't even call him a 4-5. Connor Derrickson, that pickleball trainer who's got a live arm. If either one of them hits me in the eye with an overhead, which is very possible, it's the same. There's no difference. It has nothing to do with level. So, yeah, I don't think it's a benefit for anybody. or anything, and terrible for the pro game long term.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I think it could be okay for a 70-year-old lady. I didn't take a strong stance on that, and I thought that was the only possibility, right?
Okay, fair
Like
enough,
as
fair
long
enough.
as maybe the 70 and over ladies are all playing with that paddle. Who knows? I can be convinced either way on that.
I've done
But
what
yeah,
you
I
did though,
mean,
Thomas. The points were sick previously. Like watching the points, it was like, man, it's hard to find openings. If you don't find the opening, it's okay because you still get to stay in the point.
Mhm.
It was just better.
can you make an argument for these powerful paddles? Like
No.
I'm trying to understand like the argument in favor of them.
Well, the argument's obviously like nobody wants to see 35 dinks in a row, but I would also argue that you're minimizing the creativity, and those 35 dinks are going to go away anyway as guys find new and creative ways to speed up and to be aggressive. This just makes it bang bang, and I think what you've said is not a bad idea. Like eventually there's going to be guys just trying to body bag everybody. That's it. Just try to body them up. So I don't see any benefit to it because even the dinks, like you're just going so slow, so slow. Because if you take the slightest risk, points over. If you miss
One
on
way
that
or
risk,
another.
yeah. So I've tried to also think like, how is this a benefit? And as you said, even in the singles game, how is it a benefit? I don't see it because even in the
Yeah.
singles game now, it just becomes huge serve, huge pass. Like where's the nuance? Where's the craft? Where's the
Where's the
artistic
Frank Anthony
value?
Davis
Where
of
Frank Anthony Davis is going to struggle with this paddle. And I actually loved to play Frank previously because the points were so fun. And
yeah.
that's the biggest thing for me is like an older dude who started playing at a park with a wide range of ages. It takes that away to some extent, and I hate that. Like I hate that the whole reason the sport is large is because it was so inclusive, and every athleticism could play with every athleticism, every age, and now that gap will spread drastically if there's not a cap on technology very soon.
Yeah. So I would say like the main two arguments I've heard in favor of allowing these more powerful paddles is both I think are based on some flawed logic. First, people enjoy seeing power. And I think that is true, right? Like in tennis, you love to see somebody absolutely clobber a forehand. I think it's far less interesting to watch
Sure.
somebody absolutely clobber a serve, but is that interesting because they're particularly talented and they can hit it harder than somebody else, like Juan Martín del Potro clubbing 100-mile-per-hour forehands? Or is power in and of itself good? If everybody was clubbing
No,
100 mile
no.
per hour forehands, it doesn't seem to stick out from the crowd.
Well, that's the whole point now, Zane, right? It's not even about what your technique is, how much force you put behind it. It's simply about what paddle you have in your hand and how much propulsion, or now the changed name for the mod is the reactive core. Like, it's the same shit. Give me a break, man. Like
So
how naive are we?
in singles, I can see like wanting to have blistering passing shots. I think that that's possible. I think that generally you're going to have people just hitting piss missiles and points over within a couple of shots. So I don't think, yes, the occasional one that somebody absolutely crushes might be very interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough. And then the other argument is we don't want to see long elongated dink rallies. We want powerful paddles. And I think if you take this for a split second, the reason why we are seeing, I think, some hesitance in some of these points to speed up is as soon as you go into a hands battle, like we just said, hands battles are more random than ever because if somebody catches a counter correctly with this paddle, the point is over, whereas it wasn't before. So I think with deader paddles, you're actually going to have more speed
More
ups.
speed ups, no
If you
question.
think
Of course
about
you
the
would.
women's game, right? Women speed up the ball more
All
than
the
men
time.
because
Yeah.
the counters aren't as powerful. They're not as down and they're not as powerful. And women's doubles is way more interesting to watch than men's doubles, unless you have like a Gabe and Hayden out there doing all types of crazy creative
stuff, yeah.
stuff. So I don't think that the power leads to shorter points in doubles, and it leads to maybe your occasional slap winner forehand that looks great, but far more just 2-3 shot rallies in singles.
Gotta agree.
And I'd be happy
to
to
see.
debate anybody who wants to come on and talk about that, or who wants to come on and talk in favor of powerful paddles. I'm legitimately
Well,
trying
that's
to
why I'm going to
understand.
post the question. I want to hear legitimate, like, especially people at rec play or, you know, whatever the division they're playing in, and I want to hear, like, why do you think this is a benefit? Give me a benefit for the overall grand scheme, from recreational play to professional play. Why is this good? If you are the average viewer, because obviously I and you are going to watch it from a different perspective. If you're the average viewer, why is this better? Because I don't see it, but you know, I don't see a lot of things, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'll be trolling the comments on that one.
I appreciate you, Zane.
All right, so you've seen us wear these Olakai shoes in the studio. We've been wearing them on court and off court because they've got that streetwear vibe to them as well. But Olakai just dropped a new shoe. It's a limited edition line, and I think you guys should check it out. So we'll throw it up on the screen here. For the gentlemen, we've got the green Kappa leaf print, bold, inspired by the vibrant island scenery. And for the ladies, a serene light blue, bright sky print, and it'll definitely turn heads. These limited edition Anow shoes are here for a good time, not a long time. Built for pickleball, but styled for your life off the court too. They offer the comfort, stability, and traction you need. Plus, every Olakai purchase supports Hawaiian nonprofits, so you're stepping up in style and making a difference. Visit the link in the description to try a pair for yourself. I will say we have been working with Olakai for a few weeks now, and every time we run something, a promo for them, it's insane the amount of interest they get. Like, people really like these shoes because, again, they're not just cool for on court, they are very cool for off court style as well. And throughout the episode, you'll see in the wide frame, you can see us wearing them. And RJ's in the corner here too. He's got his green ones on. So check out the Olakai Now limited edition prints. They are available now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie,